Hey guys, welcome back to Conversations with Queens, a mini-series on this channel where we chat with some of our favorite pageant personalities. Today we are chatting with Nikki Breedveld, this year's Miss Universe Philippines 2023, Taguig City. Nikki is a lawyer, a teacher, and a lupus warrior. Does she have what it takes to be a transformational leader and a force for good? Well, let's find out together. If you guys enjoy videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep on watching.
Can we just get it out of the way? Because I know people are going to ask about your voice.
Yes.
That's the first thing people say.
Always.
And we talked about it earlier. And I just want to, can we share what you told me about your voice?
Yes, so this is my voice. I'm very pabebe. I did try very hard. I worked with a speech pathologist. But what a lot of people don't know is that your voice is very much dependent on your physiology. Your physiology is the way in which your body is built. And so for me, I have a healthy voice. I just have a small esophageal passage, and the way sound works is that if something is wide, it's louder, it's deeper. And if something is narrow, it's higher and cuter. Me, I'm narrow, so I'm high and I'm cute, but I'm proud. So yeah, and I think people can make a lot of comments about you. But I feel like if you can be comfortable in who you are, and I'm comfortable in who I am, then I really appreciate the people who make those comments for the purpose of wanting me to better myself. But I also accept that there are certain limitations into what I can do about that. And so I've really just become comfortable in me being cute. And what's wrong with being cute? Why can't you make an impact by being sweet? Okay, this world is harsh. We need cute people, kind people, sweet people. I'm one of them.
Yeah. And I think there's something so endearing about just owning who you are.
Why not? Like the whole world, the whole universe, rather, is so persistent in changing you and making you into something that you are not just so you can fit a mold. But if you try to go against the grain, if you become something that you are not, then you are just resisting your own self and you are being inauthentic, and that is a lie into your own heart, and that is so unfair to you, more so than what society is telling you. So please just be who you are and learn to accept that, because if you can do that, then you'll realize how amazing you actually are, and that there's no need to be different, because we are all actually so perfect the way we're made. And the same way you admire other people, that's the very same way they admire you. So remember that.
I love that you addressed it, because I know, like, people just need to let it go, okay?
Yeah.
I've been seeing comments also with so many, all the candidates, and that's just one of the reasons why I wanted to have these interviews, because people need to know that beauty queens are humans with stories, and that's actually like the most interesting things about you guys. Is that you have so much to tell, so much to share, and it's really beyond like these very minor details that we shall not fixate on. So anyway, going to your introduction.
Yes.
Teacher, lawyer, lupus advocate, and warrior.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your background as a teacher, as a lawyer, and how does that play into you being a Miss Universe Philippines candidate? I was gonna say being Miss Universe. I was like,
Give it to me now. So I love this question because this question really goes into my entire motto, which is transformation. And I know that that's already the Miss Universe tagline. But what a lot of people don't know is that last year when I applied to my camp, the Crown Initiative, I gave them this PowerPoint.
You did?
I gave a PowerPoint presentation about what I wanted my journey to look like, why I was a worthy candidate, why they should take me. No, because I felt like I'm a very self-accepting person. I know that there are parts about myself that aren't necessarily stereotypical of pageantry. So I wanted to, from the get-go, show them my heart. And I did that through a PowerPoint presentation with my motto being transformational. So it's very universal that happens to be the motto this time. And I love that motto because for every moment in my life, every very difficult period, I've transformed that. I've transformed my lowest points into something that I can make my highest peaks just by my perspective. So for example, I never planned to study law. My dream was to be a doctor. My dream was to go to Africa and save the world one child at a time. But then I was diagnosed with lupus and I was too sick to go to school. I was actually told that I wouldn't be able to attend university, let alone like live past a couple years. But I wanted to go to school and I was persistent, just like a yin being a Taurus. I was persistent, and thankfully God blessed me with being a very good reader and having a very good memory. So I sat down with my mom and we said, look, law seems like a good degree for you. I mean, it's book-based. You just have to literally learn the Constitution. And I found a very kind school in Ireland that was willing to allow me to study in various modes. So if I could manage it, I'd go to school. Wow. If I couldn't, I'd attend online. And if I couldn't even do that, then they'd just let me read and take the exams. And as long as I passed, they were okay. And I was very blessed with that. But through law, I found that passion to advocate, because when I wanted to do medicine, I felt that help was something that was supposed to be tangible. Like you had to take a child and make their life different by actually doing something physical. But through law, I realized that your voice is enough. Like if you have the capacity to speak for somebody, your voice can make a change. But more so than speaking for them, if you can empower somebody to speak for themselves, and that's the transformational part. And that's why I also got into teaching, because I realized that you have to start at the grassroots level. It's not enough to empower an adult because there's so much in your mind that you have to overcome. But if from a young age you can let a child know that they are enough and that they have everything they need within themselves to make those dreams come true, and you can have that really be a part of their value system, then that's how you change the world. Not with people now, but with people that are growing up into who they're going to become. And I think that fits in with my Miss Universe journey, because I'm not necessarily making or wanting to make actionable differences, but I'm just wanting to empower the universe in the same way that I've had the opportunity to empower myself. And I know how life-changing it can be to have that inner thought process that, you know what, no matter how difficult this thing is, I can overcome. And not only can you overcome, but you can transform it into something better.
My gosh, it really does make sense that the next step is to join a pageant, because I feel like for you, especially with your goals, what you've mentioned earlier, having a platform as big as Miss Universe Philippines, being able to spread the message to so many people and do the same things that you're already doing, but on a larger scale, it makes sense.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you followed your heart and that now you're here, you get to do this. Can I go back to what you said about how you were able to go to school, and it was a very empowering, I would say inclusive even school, that they allowed you to study as you dealt with your condition. How do you think your experience with such an institution empowered you to continue pursuing your dreams despite everything?
It's actually something that I try to instill when I teach my students now, which is tailored learning. Because what we forget is that everybody has their own strengths. It's actually something I learned from my parents. They work with those who have special needs and learning disabilities. And what I learned, for example, when somebody is on the autistic spectrum, is maybe socially they have a hard time, but they're blessed in a different way. They're blessed by being really good at maths or being really talented at music. And it's the same way for everybody in this world, that you might not be so good at learning through reading, but you might be really good at learning through song. And I think when somebody can see that in you and promote you in a way that's unique to you, then you realize how capable you are. You realize how amazing you are. And that's why I try to do that in my classroom. I can see that there are little children that are dismayed when they're not doing so well at an exam, or they're not handling a topic so well. And I'm like, the topic is the problem, it's not you. The problem is the system of how you're being taught, because it's one for all. But there is like 30 children in this class that are all so special. And I think that's something that I try to implement. It's something that I also try to implement just in my life with my friends, like when I give advice, or when I'm looking at the choice somebody makes, like who am I to judge that's so unique to them. And I feel like having had that opportunity to learn in a bespoke way to me really taught me the importance of allowing everybody their own little grass space to blossom into that little flower that they are.
What level do you teach?
So I actually teach like gifted children. So I do teach up to high school level, but a lot of them are like 5 to 11.
That's so nice.
Yeah, but they're able to be gifted and to learn to that level because it's a tailored education. It's for them. And I think people forget, literally, if there's anybody in this universe that's limitless, it's children. Their brains are sponges. So I do get a little bit annoyed when there's like books that say 4 or 5 years old, 4 or 6 years old. I'm like, no. It's for whatever kid can handle that grade, taught the way they're needed to be taught. I don't like when there's stoppages. I think kids, adults, anybody can go as far as they want at any point in time. There shouldn't be a timeline that you need to follow.
And that's a very empowering thing to know.
Yeah.
And especially, I feel like teachers in general, if they know this, they embody this, then like the next generation of learners are just more empowered to really go for what they want and know that whatever inability they have to learn a certain thing, it's not really their problem, and it's also something that we can work on as a system.
Yeah, I think something that I would love schools to promote is, number one, problem solving. Because of all the skills you need in this world, you need to learn to have an adequate mindset to problem solve. But the second thing is self-belief. Because no matter how good a child is at a particular subject, if they don't believe in themselves, that they can apply for that CEO position, that they can pass that exam for that particular degree, then what's the point of everything you've learned, right? So sana all.
Sana all, literally. How do you think this will affect your journey as a Miss Universe Philippines candidate? And how do you hope to use your experience to potentially grab a crown?
I think for me, a Miss Universe is somebody that connects. And I think something that I'm really proud of in my journey is, even though I grew up in a very privileged household, I grew up with, parents having a job, being able to go to school, and even if we had moments of struggle, there was never a point where I was truly lacking in the way that a lot of people are. But I've gone through severe hopelessness and pain. I know what it's like to be dying, and at that point in time, no matter how much you have, none of that matters. But I'm really grateful that I lost that sense of everything, because feelings are universal. It doesn't matter why you have that feeling, but once you felt that, you can empathize with other people. And I think that as people of privilege, it can be quite hard to empathize with those who are on the outskirts of society. And so I feel really blessed in a sense that I actually know what it feels like to be hopeless, to be in complete despair and in complete depression, so that when I actually talk to somebody who's having that difficult time, I can say, I know how you feel and I mean it. And in that way, if you can connect through vulnerability and through empathy, sometimes it's just having another person know that they're not alone in that feeling. That's enough, right? So in one way, I think I've been equipped for Miss Universe in that sense, that you can put me in any situation and I'll find a way to connect with somebody, because I know what it's like to be high and to be low. In a sense of advocacy, however sweet and pa-baby I sound, I am a lawyer. And I might not particularly show it now, but like when I'm at work, I'm a badass. I mean, I know
She's a boss.
I know how to get things done, and I know how to stand up for myself. I know that I have rights. You will not take those away from me. And I also have that sense of needing to and wanting to and being capable of standing up for people legislatively. It doesn't matter what country you're in. I know the international human rights laws, so so universal.
That's a useful skill set to have.
It truly is useful. And then as a teacher, as a Miss Universe, not only do you empower, not only do you advocate, but you are wanting to impart whatever gifts God gave you onto other people. And I think as a teacher, I'm able to do that in a sense of not like derogatory, me telling you something. It's me sharing and enabling you the ability to understand. But communication goes both ways, and I'm so willing to listen also. So yeah, those 3 things make me so Miss Universe material.
I love it. As you should. That's the credentials. There you go.
Thank you.
One thing that I really love about what you said is how you're able to empathize, right? And again, when you're on that stage, it's something that I feel like beauty queens have to deal with. It's like you're on a pedestal on stage, you're up here, but at the same time, part of the job is being able to connect with people, being able to see where they're coming from, even though you are in a place of privilege, of course. But going back to your lupus journey, everything that you've experienced, can you give us like a little bit of a background so we understand what Nikki B went through and how you came out of it?
Yeah, so at the age of about 15 or 16, I was diagnosed with lupus, but it took a year or so to get to that point. And the reason it took a year or so to get to that point is because lupus is a systematic autoimmune disease, meaning that my immune system attacks all parts of my body at any given point in time, whether it's joint inflammation, kidney failure, lung failure, heart failure, anything, all the failures.
Oh my gosh.
Hair loss, chronic fatigue, all of that. When I was diagnosed quite late in my journey, because the doctors didn't know what was happening with me. Some thought it was stress, some thought it was cancer, some thought it was malaria. And unfortunately, in a good way, but also in a bad way, in Western medicine, I was at Ireland at this point, they're very hesitant to treat you with medication if they don't know what's wrong with you, which can be good and bad. For me, it was bad because I wasn't getting the help that was needed, and I was just slowly fading away to a point of being bedridden and really just not having a life to live or a future to look forward to. And then I came here to the Philippines out of desperation, and I remember crying because within 1 hour this doctor saw me, Dr. Lanzon in Batangas, hello. He saw me and he was like, you have lupus.
So you got diagnosed here in the Philippines?
I got diagnosed here. He hadn't even seen my blood tests at this point, but he said, I know you have lupus, but whatever the blood tests say, I'm going to give you medication right now, and we're going to make you okay right now. And it was that sense of relief of, number one, knowing what was wrong with me, but number two, having somebody actually care enough to fix me. So even if my prognosis at that point wasn't sunshiny, I was just grateful
to know
and to have some relief. But that was really only the beginning of my journey, because you can imagine, at 15 or 16, being told that your future is practically non-existent, that all of your dreams are almost impossible to achieve. Sort of that spiraled me into a very negative and mental health space. I suffered with severe diagnosed anxiety, and even as my health began to get better, my mental health deteriorated. So even though I started to have the capacity to live, I was questioning whether I should be living. But then I woke up one day, and I guess I was just really tired of being tired. Like, I don't know what happened, but like this switch lit in my head, and I was like, look, this is my life. Yes, it's really hard. Yes, I don't like what's happening to me, but the only thing I have control over is not my circumstances, but how I perceive my circumstances. So I said that even if things aren't perfect, I can pretend. You know how they say fake it till you make it? That's kind of what my brain did, where I was like, you know what? It's gonna be a positive day. And it's been about like 7 years since that point, but that's why I'm so positive. I just choose to be positive every day. I choose to wake up and I choose to be like, there's something that I do every morning where it's like my gratitude practice, where from when I wake up until I finish getting ready, I say thank you for everything.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm like, good morning world. Thank you for my bed, thank you for my pillow, thank you for my toothbrush, toothpaste, running water, tissue paper, clothes, like I'll list everything. Because, right, how can you have the start of a bad day when you already have about 500 things to be thankful for?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so simple, but also that's
so simple.
mind-blowing to me. Because I feel like my mornings, as much as I try to have this perfect routine of like me doing everything right, when you say it out loud like that, it makes a difference. So do you do it as you're getting ready in the morning? Like, thank you, toothbrush.
Yeah, I'll go through the process until I have my clothes on.
I should try that.
Yeah.
You
And
should
then-
also do that on TikTok.
Oh,
I
should.
see it in my head. I was like, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I do that, and then I have like a gratitude journal I write in at night. So in that way, throughout the day, I'm also thinking of like, oh, like what's a good thing I can put in my journal, because it's true. Like, I mean this in the most honest way possible, but life is crap for everyone in our own little ways. There isn't one person that goes through something worse than another. It's all unique. It's all different. Your difficulties are valid, but sometimes your difficulties are always going to be there. Like, sometimes that is the truth of life. Sometimes you can't escape those hardships, but you can escape how you go through them. So for me, I'm very grateful that I've had the strength to think positively. I know that other lupus warriors are still suffering in the way that I did before, where they were very much are still in that like hopelessness. But like, to everybody watching, I will say that the number one thing that healed me is the practice of gratitude. If you can just find something to be thankful for, it really just grounds you. Like, yeah, I might be dying. Well, I'm okay now, but like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm okay now, but like, yeah, you might be going through that, but like, look, I got it. I don't know why, but I think God or the universe was really blessing me in like my time of hardship, because I used to get a lot of free coffees. Like, whatever cafe I went to, I don't know if it was just because I was happy or if it was like a legit blessing, but they'd be like, here's a free coffee, and I'm like, oh.
It's your
really?
energy. I think it's your energy. You attract that positivity.
Free things, I'll take it. Yeah. But that's it, right? If you emit positive things, that's what you get. So you're really just benefiting your own life by trying to err on the side of positivity.
And I can't believe, like, I'm talking to somebody who was on the verge of the worst fear of my life. But it's really amazing how you turned that around and you really made it like your armor. I feel like when I talk to you and you really bring everything that you've almost lost and just be grateful for them.
Yeah, because it's honestly, it's not scary. I know that's like your biggest fear, but it's not scary. The only scary part is when you see the faces of your family.
That's a thing. That's what I'm worried about.
But your internal feeling, it's kind of like peaceful. I can't describe it, but you're like, oh, okay. Granted that, you know, you're happy with how you've led your life, but it's more of like, oh, I'm okay. I'm just sad that my family is sad. But that's why you should cherish them and message them every day. And I know not everybody has a good relationship with their family, but I think if it's something you can try make peace with, you'll, you know, when your time comes, you'll be a lot happier.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so speaking...
Happy things now.
Happy things. I mean, even when you're talking about probably the most devastating thing ever, it's still with like a positive tone. I don't think if anybody, like if somebody was listening through the walls and not really hearing the topic, they'd assume we were gossiping about something
my
nice.
team and I laugh about. They're like, "How are you?" I'm like, "I'm having such a bad day.
I'm having such a bad day. I almost died."
I know. They're like, "You don't sound it." I'm like, "I can't help it. It's just like my face now."
Yeah, and it's a good thing to be. It's a good thing to be happy, to emit positive energy. Yeah, and to pabebe.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Okay, so let's go to Miss Universe.
Yes.
Speaking of Miss Universe and this next stage in your life,
Yes.
how's the preparation coming along? Because this is your first pageant.
Yes, it's my first pageant. The preparation is going really well. In terms of my mental fortitude, something that I was telling Ayin was that prior to joining the pageant, I thankfully have access to a therapist, and so I decided to work through with my therapist all of my self-limiting beliefs and also just how to manage the reality of a pageant. At the end of the day, there are people that are going to support you, and there are people that are going to critique you in an unhelpful way. And I really learned how to place value within myself so that if I come across those comments or come across those negative beliefs, that I can take them without them impacting me. And so I think that's probably one of the strongest things I'm going to leave this pageant with. It's that sense of like ultimate self-acceptance that, yeah, okay, people might perceive me one way, but what matters the most is how I perceive myself. And if I'm okay with myself, then the world's just gonna have to deal.
The universe.
The universe, rather. It's just gonna have to accept Nikki as Nikki.
What's your favorite part about pageantry right now? Because you have your runway training, you have your Q&A, you have advocacy work.
Yes.
So far, what are you enjoying the most?
For me, what I'm enjoying the most is like moments like this. I'm very much like a person that connects. I like to connect. So I do enjoy all aspects of the pageant, but there are moments that are a little bit outside of Nikki's comfort zone. So I was really grateful for the times where I could do like more charity work supported by the Taguig government, because before, all of the charity work I did or volunteer work I did was just Nikki knocking on doors asking if I could help. But now as Miss Taguig, I have the support of the Taguig government to really make an impact in my community. So getting to do that, getting to go to elderly homes and speak with Down syndrome children, or I'm not sure if you know, but Taguig has a sign language initiative where they are teaching, which is in line with something I love. They are teaching members of the LGU forms of sign language, just very basic, so that they can communicate with all members of Taguigeños. So it's something that I'm very passionate about and that I'm very grateful to now be a part of, that I wouldn't get if it wasn't for Miss Universe and being Miss Taguig. So it's those moments that make the moments I'm insecure about or worried about worth it.
That's so perfect. And I can't wait to see you on stage. I can't wait to see the tourism videos, all the challenges, because there's a lot that we have yet to see.
Yeah, sana all they're okay.
Yeah, they're going to be okay. Honestly, at the end of the day, the message that you're going to be leaving with these people, the impact is so much greater than any crown, honestly. Because like the crown is a great thing. It's a great bonus, but I feel like you're fulfilling your mission, what you set out to do. You're doing it already as Miss Taguig.
It's so true. And that's what I always like try to tell the girls around me when I see that, you know, they're nervous or just really wanting this really amazing dream. It's that, yes, the crown is amazing, but there's only one crown. But we have 3 months of experiences to be had. So as coveted as that crown is, it's really down to destiny, because I've spoken to all of the girls. They're all amazing. Like, I'm in awe of all of them. I'm fangirling over all of them. I think they all deserve to win. I think I deserve to win. But that's the point. Everybody is deserving. Everybody is working hard. So it's really down to whoever the universe decides to bless on the 13th of May. But we have 2 months and 2 months and like 11 days or something.
I don't know.
I don't know math. I suck at math. That's not my strength. That's one thing Nikki can't do. But 2 something months. And that's going to be the most life-changing 2 something months of your life. So why not enjoy it and be grateful and look at it for the value that it is, which is enabling you to better your life and to have connection and a platform. Because that's the pageant. The crown isn't the platform. The pageant is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so well put. Okay, final question.
Yeah.
Just to wrap things up, I want to go back to young Nikki.
Yes.
The young Nikki
We
we're
love
talking.
baby Nikki.
Baby Nikki.
I always talk about her like she's a different person.
And it's so healing, no?
Yeah.
Like healing your inner child.
I'm a firm believer in healing your inner child, which is why I talk about little Nikki as another person, so that I can parent her and sort of take away her insecurities and her hardships, because we're not the same person, and she needs big Nikki.
I love that. You are an ate to your
I'm an
younger
ate
self.
to my baby self.
So what's your message to baby Nikki? If she could see you now, if you could talk to her, what would you tell her?
I think I would probably tell her that your body doesn't determine your dreams. Because growing up, whether it was being overweight or, being diagnosed with lupus and hating my body for not being a normal body and for losing my hair and all of that jazz, I always thought that my body was the problem, not society, not negative thoughts from other people. And I really felt like I just wasn't worthy of achieving anything if I didn't look a certain way or act a certain way. But it's through this Miss Universe journey that I'm actively unlearning that. Like, I'm actively promoting towards big Nikki and little Nikki, that who you are as a person is enough. And that what matters so much more is your heart and what you can offer people. That's why I'm really glad for this edition of Miss Universe. I'm sure all of you can see that it's a little bit of a different version than the past, where they're really focusing on who the woman is and what she can offer as a force for good in her communities and hopefully universally. And I was really thanking God when I found out that there was a change in how the pageant was going to be, that it wasn't going to follow the path that it had before, because I felt like if there's ever a year that I'm going to join, at least it's the year where they're really listening to who the girl is and not how she simply is physically. So I would tell little Nikki that you are enough and that you can do anything as long as you believe in yourself.
Lovely. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
baby Nikki is very, very proud of you and what
Super.
you've done so far.
Yeah, she's nervous also.
She's nervous, but she's going to walk on that stage,
Yeah.
come out alive.
Yes, exactly. She's going to be fine, and you're all going to be fine. We're all going to be fine.
We're all going to be fine. After all of this, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, everything always ends up fine, honestly. I know it.
Is there anything you'd like to promote or you'd like to share? What do our audience, wow, my audience,
God.
what can they expect from you?
I think from me, they can expect somebody who is okay with being vulnerable and who is okay with being authentically herself, however scary that is in a world that expects you to fit a mold. But for me, whether or not I win a crown, or whether or not it's detrimental to me winning the crown, I really want to prove and to show that you can just be you. Something I always say, that to be a queen means to simply be yourself. And so I'm not going to try to be something I'm not, in hopes that something I was missing when I was younger was seeing somebody confident in who they were, even if they didn't fit what was expected of them. And so you're just gonna see somebody that's super real and super human and competitive only with herself.
I love that. Thank you so much, Nikki, for joining me.
Thank you.
Well,
I was fangirling over you earlier.
Girl, I'm fangirling. Now
my God.
Now I want to wake up tomorrow thanking everything.
Yeah, thank the pillow, the bed sheet, the slip, the window, the light.
I will do that for sure.
Yeah, and the next time there's a blackout, you'll be like, oh, kawawa, no light.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so we'll see you on the coronation night.
Yes, thank you so much.
I will be there for sure.
As a correspondent.
You know what? The funny thing is, I've talked to 3 girls, and every single time I say I'll see you on the 13th, everyone's like, as a correspondent, as backstage. I'm like, I hope so.
Sana, let's manifest
Let's
for
manifest.
Eileen.
Baka naman. But yeah, thank you so
Feeling
much
ko.
for joining me.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Sana mangyari, Sir Voltaire. Charot. Okay, but anyway, thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Nikki here.
Thank you.
Yeah, go follow her. I'll put everything in the link below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.